cheats face a doubling of their bans for first offenders to 4 years under a strict new code to be agreed at the World Conference on Doping in Sport in South Africa this week. International Olympic Committee, sports federations and national doping organizations are due to ratify the tougher sanctions. They are calling for more vigorous testing in a drive to catch the cheats and those who aid them. Sporting codes will be compelled to create testing programs targeting substances believed to be most prevalent in cheating in a particular sport. Now, for more on the story, we are joined by SABC's reporter from Cape Town, Lumko Jimlongo. Lumko, good morning to you.
Yes, good morning, sir.
What can you tell us? What's the latest there?
Oh yes, well indeed, we are broadcasting from the Sports Science Institute at Newlands here in Cape Town, where, as you've rightly alluded to, currently the I Play Fair Sports Law Conference is underway here. It is a precursor to a more global conference on anti-doping, which is going to be hosted in Johannesburg during this week. In fact, I think it starts tomorrow. Many issues are as part of the discussion here today, ranging from various challenges facing sports, not only in the country but globally as well, from doping, from match fixing to ethical issues. But joining me now is the chairperson of the SA Institute for Drug-Free Sport, Dr. Victor Ramathesele. Dr. Victor, can you just briefly tell us, just to bring us into the picture, what sort of work does the institute constitute of?
Look, the South African Institute for Drug-Free Sport is established within a legal framework or a legislative framework by an Act of Parliament, the South African Institute for Drug-Free Sport Act of 1997, which was amended in 2004. But that Act says the Minister of Sports and Recreation has to establish this board, which is going to be the anchor and is going to be responsible for ensuring that in South Africa, and indeed as South Africans participate in other events continentally, regionally and globally, that we adhere to the ethics of the sport and ensure that we as an institute can get South Africans to participate without cheating and without using doping substances in sport.
All right, now speaking to adhering to the ethics, are we seeing that happening? Is there a problem enough that we should see such conferences being hosted?
Look, in essence, when you look at the history of doping, which dates from time immemorial, doping in essence flies against three major issues around sports, which are critical. One of them is ethics of sports. The second is that it interferes with the health of the individual who's using a banned substance, and it can also interfere with the health of those who are playing with or against them. And thirdly, the other issue, of course, is that fairness in sport has been interfered with. So the issues of integrity and fairness come into play. Now, what has happened over the years is that as we engage with other stakeholders across the world, it has become more and more evident with the passage of time that a lot of the syndicates that are driving availability and usage of banned substances in sports are the same perpetrators of other forms of cheating in sport, including match fixing. It has therefore become important that as we look into these issues, we look at them globally and we tackle them from that point of view. Secondly, in the last 2 years, you'll realize that as the Institute, we have grappled with a lot of very tricky issues. One of them has been the Ludwig Mamapulo case, which proved to us that, one, we need to adhere and ensure that our processes of doping are beyond reproach, that we stick to the letter and we take the brief from the World Anti-Doping Agency on how we do and perform the doping controls in the various matches. But also results management, which is a legal issue now, has become very, very critical. You'll recall that in the Ludwig Mamapulo case conference is to look at the legal aspects of our work.
But now, Dr. Ramathesele, before it gets to that, there's also seemingly a trend where it's cropping up a lot in sports men to sort of think that my raw talent alone is not enough. Are we doing enough to perhaps try and curb it from that level as well?
One of the other issues that this conference is looking at is that what other factors are at play that put pressure perhaps on athletes to use banned substances. And it is becoming more and more clear that where a lot of sport is being played in a country such as South Africa, a sports-mad country, I might add, that schools has become a very critical area. Therefore, what influence do the teachers have? What influence do the parents have? What influence do the coaches have? And who makes all of these drugs available? School sports, therefore, has become a very, very critical issue, not only as it relates to doping in sports, but also you'd have heard Honorable Minister Fikile Mbalula also saying a lot about school sports. What we are doing currently as the South African Institute for Drug-Free Sport is to work directly with the Department of Basic Education to look at ways and means in which first we can educate the students, we can try and get them to desist from using banned substances, and we are hoping that with time we'll get to a point in a legal framework and a legislative framework that will allow us to test schools, sports players as well, to ensure that our message gets in a little bit early, because testing, remember, is not only to catch the culprits, but it's also to deter people from using banned substances.